how does news factor into my trading? So news is one of the big, like, most important things that will start you on your journey to become profitable, because a lot of people that think news, oh, news is bad, whatever. Like, news is good in ICT land. News is what we want because we want volatility. And what does volatility equal? Good price action. So it's good when we have big news. Now, when I say the word news, your brain should automatically go to, your brain should automatically be hardwired. Oh, forexfactory.com, forexfactory.com, forexfactory.com. When I say news, this is what you must look at. forexfactory.com. Okay, and it's going to look like this. Now, there's a little green button in the right. It's the filter button. If you trade like Forex, you could turn it on for other things like Euro, the British pound, JPY, whatever you want. Okay, Australian, okay, like Canadian dollar. So everything you can turn it on for, but I only trade futures, so I only have it on for USD. I just click apply. Now, there's yellow folder, orange folder, and red folder, and I'm sure you can guess what those mean. Okay, yellow meaning it doesn't matter at all. Orange folder getting a little darker. It's now orange, so medium impact. And then red folder, bad. Red equals bad. So red equals just bad news, which, not bad, but most volatile news. So this is the most volatile news. Yellow folder has little to no effect on the market at all. Okay, so that is the start of understanding news. Now, there's three big main news events. There's FOMC. Okay, keep in mind there's FOMC meeting and there's FOMC minutes. Minutes is not the same as meeting, but there's FOMC minute or FOMC meeting, where typically J Powell speaks. Okay, it's a member. So it's an FOMC member. Okay, not daily. This is a different FOMC member. We have J Powell speaking, and then we have non-farm payroll, which usually happens on a Friday once a month. And then we have CPI. So those are the three big ones, I would say. Now, what does news mean? News, the market's already predetermined to go places, but sometimes news can definitely be the accelerator. Meaning, if the market's already planning on going down, sometimes news can accelerate us. And today was a perfect example. So today we had sell side. Okay, let me turn off these executions real quick. This is just a random paper account I'm on. Today we had sell side at these lows. Now, what happened was we got news, I think, around this time, and it just caused a big dump here. So I think this was news. It was like the Iran news. But the market's already predetermined to go sell side. The news comes out, the market accelerates towards there. And I'm not saying that we wouldn't have gone there if we didn't get the news about Iran. It just would have done it slower, if that makes sense. So typically news accelerates us to where we want to go. Now, what I recommend doing is there's two big news times, 8:30 and 10 o'clock. So typically you'll see the most red folder, 8:30 or 10 a.m. Now, what I do is this. If there's ever 8:30 news, like sales, retail sales, manufacturing, what's else? PPI, consumer sentiment, CPI is usually at 8:30, NFP at 8:30. The main thing for me is I do not trade. You should not be trading the London session before 8:30, and typically you want to wait for the news to come out and then you want to look to take a trade. So this morning, this was the not that. Sorry, this morning, if we go to the 1 minute chart. This was the news right here. I think it's more. So this is the news right here. Okay, you can see it's a pretty hefty candle, and it creates kind of this wick below, and you can kind of tell it's a news candle, right? Because when we're consolidating here, and then out of nowhere, we just get major volatility. So it's news. Okay. Now, what I do is I wait for the 8:30 news to come out. I don't take any trades before because this is all sloppy to me, and I know it's going to be sloppy because we have news, and I wait for structure to form after the news. So I like to see a little market structure. I like to see a little flow. I like to be in tune with the market a lot more when the news comes out. So in this example, I kind of see, okay, we made a low, news kind of creates a high, then a higher low. And here's the point where I'm okay, we're kind of getting good structure. Now I'm going to look for a trade. So it's not that I don't look for a trade right after 8:30. It's I like to see a little more structure form instead of just trying to guess or play or immediately enter after a giant candle. There will be some news events that will have gigantic candles that you will just be, you'll be like, okay, do I enter short here now? Or you won't know what to do. I'm telling you, wait for market structure to form. But again, if we have ever 8:30 red folder news, wait till 8:30, wait for that news to come out, and then you can take a trade. Now, if we have 10 a.m. news, 10 a.m. is the other big one you'll see. You want to wait until after 10 a.m. because from 9:30 to 10 can tend to be very sloppy, and then the news comes out. So this is prelim consumer sentiment, and you're probably wondering, do I need to know what that means? No, you don't need to know what this means. You don't need to see what the actual forecast, whatever. You don't need to know any of this. You just need to know that it's red folder, it's important, and that's all you need to know. So you need to wait for 10 a.m. or after 10 a.m. to take a trade. Now, is there times where I take a trade before 10 a.m. still? Yes, and it might not be on my main account. It might be like a evaluation account. It might be a fun account. Maybe it's a personal account, but it has to be really good. There is times where I will take trades before 10 a.m. Rarely, but I will do that. Okay, that's the second time. So ideally, most of the time, you want to wait till after 10 a.m. Unless you see something really A+++. Maybe you've been targeting the same level for like 5 days and you just know the news is going to hit it. But you're going to build that conviction over time. And then the third is FOMC. FOMC typically happens at about 2 p.m. So I'm not going to go to a day where we get FOMC, but it happens at 2 p.m. Typically for FOMC, I try to take like one little tiny scalp in the morning session. So from 8:30 and beyond. So from 8:30 to about 11 o'clock Eastern time. So right here, I try to take a little scalp. And then after the 11 o'clock hits, I'm like, yeah, I'm not trading this anymore. Because typically FOMC makes a big move. And what needs to happen before a big move? Well, we need to consolidate before a big move because that's how we generate and build liquidity. As you saw in my patterns video, like how patterns work because they generate liquidity and then we break out and then they work. Same thing here. FOMC is going to be a big news event. We need to build liquidity and then FOMC will come out. Okay. So those are definitely the three big times, 8:30, 10, 2 o'clock. So let me just go to a random day. Now, the other thing I never went over is no news days. If we ever have no red folder news, expect it to be slow, choppy day. 9 times out of 10, it will be a slow, choppy day. There will be occasional Mondays, or Mondays is typically the day we don't get news, for anyone wondering. But there will be occasional days where we have no news, where we do get good volatility. I say this. I trade every day. If I see a setup, just watch price action. Watch to see if we're getting good gaps and displacement. And I'm pretty sure you can tell if it's good price action or not. But if you ever have no news and you're kind of seeing a lack of gaps, I just wouldn't touch anything, to be honest. But, you know, the understanding that news is going to be very volatile is good because volatility brings good price action into the market. So we need to understand that news is going to help us bring volume and volatility into the market, which usually equals or equates to good price action. So there's obviously 8:30, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, or 8:30, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Orange folder, you can trade before. Orange folder doesn't matter that much. And then yellow folder, the only thing you should be careful with yellow folder is FOMC members. Price can be very bad before FOMC members. Just keep on a lookout. So, and then, like I said, on a day where there's no news events, just remember price can be choppy or bad. So, like today, we had 8:30 news, and we had 10 a.m. yellow folder. So, the only thing I care about is this red folder here. And I think there's actually an indicator you could use. It's by Toto. Oh, it's an invite only. It's I think it's an invite only. There's an indicator on Twitter. It actually shows you the news events. It's not on here right now, but oh, right here, live economic calendar. Let's see if it works. Should. Yep, right there. It's insane. Like this guy, he coded all this. And you could change it to see red folder only, which is that's what I do. So this tells you the news for the whole week. You could obviously toggle this on and off if you want. So if I just go to indicators, I could just toggle this on and off. Maybe I don't want to see it. Maybe I do. And you could turn off, like you can turn off everything besides red folder. So now I only see red folder news. So my roadmap for the week is I'm going to trade Monday, I'm going to trade Tuesday, and I'm going to trade Thursday. Wednesday and Friday, we have no news, so I'm not going to take a trade. Okay, let me move my face cam so you guys see this. But that's how people sometimes determine the trading week, because if we don't have any news, we don't get volatility that people want, which equates to bad price action. So a lot of people do their roadmap based off of news and when they're going to trade. So tomorrow we have Powell speaking at 1:15, and we have an FOMC member in the morning. So I'm not really looking forward to tomorrow. Maybe I'll try a small scalp if I see a really good setup, but I don't know if it's going to be worth it with Jay Powell speaking at 1:15. You don't want to get in trades before he speaks. And there's like 3 FOMC members, so tomorrow's not going to be good, I presume. Wednesday, there's no news. So again, I wouldn't go for runners. I wouldn't hold 50 million point positions. I would just scalp. Wouldn't really try to do anything big because there's no news, no volatility. Now, like I said, there will be 1 out of 10 times where there will be volatility, but I think you can determine that yourself. Thursday, unemployment claims at 8:30. So I will be trading Thursday. This should be a decent day because, again, unemployment claims at 8:30. So after 8:30, I'll kind of wait for new structure, and then I'll look to take a trade. Probably run open to 10:30, most likely. 10 to 10:30 is like my favorite time to trade. And then Friday, no news at all. Gonna be a really slow day, I guess. And again, I'll be in that mindset where I'm gonna scalp. Okay, so these are the 3 major news events: FOMC, CPI, and NFP. NFP weeks, I typically don't trade a live account the Wednesday afternoon session and then that Thursday, and then Friday after NFP comes out, I will trade a live account. But Wednesday afternoon and all day Thursday, I do not trade a live account. The day before CPI is fine to trade, just go for little smaller plays. And the day before the morning session before FOMC, the day before FOMC is fine, but the morning session before FOMC, just go for smaller scalps. You're not going to want to go for home runs because a lot of the times what's going to happen is that the morning session before FOMC, the market's going to set liquidity to both sides. Maybe like this. They're going to create very obvious highs and lows. And what FOMC is going to do is FOMC is going to take them out, not before FOMC. So what you're going to do is you're going to get chopped up. Meanwhile, FOMC is going to go up and take out these highs and lows, which you're like, oh, I knew they're going to be taken out. But are you going to gamble the news? No. And we don't gamble the news. We're not trying to be in a position right when the news comes out. We want to wait for the news to come out, and then we enter our position. So that's like the biggest thing. So this is a video on news. Everything I just kind of explained is the roadmap to trading news, and just understand news is good, not bad. You want to wait for the news to come out, and it usually means good volatility is coming. That's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.